What's up guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Prospecting. Today I'm in pre-production for my new video and I had to refilm this intro because the idea that I left with when filming this video evolved several times as I was going through the day. What this video is actually about is showing you how different soil types can affect how your setup works. We were dealing with very heavy black sands and very fine gold, which is indicative of a granite base area where the gold is actually shedding out of the granite and not a reef. The problem with this soil is that the large particle sizes of the black sands or ironstone or whatever it might be, the heavies in an area like this where the heavies are numerous and the gold is fine, is that the heavies take over all the capture zones for the gold. So say you have a total capacity of half a litre of capture space in any sluice setup, let's just say that. Well, it's very easy to accumulate half a litre of very coarse black sands in those capture zones that outweigh the tiny particles of gold. And this is where you can run into big problems with your equipment if you don't clean them out and look after them regularly. You're going to see all of this in action. So without further ado, let's get to it. Today, me and George are kicking it 1852 with a rocker box. The old timers utilized rocker boxes for areas where there is no water. And if you look around us at the moment, we've only got a couple of puddles and a tree and lots of area that we could potentially work. And walking buckets to the nearest point that we could sluice is over 100 meters away. And that is quite tiring, quite annoying to do. So utilizing this technology, even though it's from the 1850s, it just allows us to work very, very close to the source of the gold. Without further ado, let's get digging some pay. We are back in the spot that I dug out this beautiful crevice. We got some really nice gold down the bottom of it. There's plenty more dirt to work here. I know there's gold in the overburden that I threw away, so we're going to take this dirt and process it as well, and probably hopefully extend the trench. With a bit of luck, we should be able to clean this out completely. For those of you who may be new to the channel and don't know about this spot, I'm just going to do one pan of dirt to show you the gold that we've been getting out of this hole and just why we're working it. Okay, so one pan's worth of dirt. Let's see how much gold we've got, just so I can show you guys what kind of gold is sitting in that hole. And look at the specks coming out of the top there. That's something to get a little bit excited about. There's probably, I don't know, 40 or 50 specks of colour there. Some of them very, very fine, some of them are very big, but at the end of the day, that is exactly what we're here for. The very first pan you saw me do today came out of this section just here. However, I've stopped working that way and I've come back to give George a hand this way, and we've got down into this little bowl here. Now that bowl has got the first clay I've seen in this spot. I haven't seen clay anywhere else, and usually clay takes a long time to build up. It's very deep, it's very wet, which means it's the lowest point in that trench. We're going to do a pan of it and see if there's any gold in it. Now, there wasn't as much black sand in that time, I noticed, but that is okay. How do we go for gold? We still did all right, about the same. Ah, 70 litres of dirt. We interrupt this little rocker box montage to show you some black sand. Look at it! Look how much black sand there is! It's all through it, everywhere. All through those bars. I haven't seen any down the bottom though. That's alright. That's a lot of black sand. We've just put a pan at the end of the rocker box because I'm sure you guys and us want to know how much gold we may be losing out the end of it. So we're going to do that test for you. So we'll run this and then we'll pan that. We'll see what we get. Well, plenty of black sand, and we've got one micro dot just there. Tiny little thing just there. That's not bad. I can live with one nano dot. We are officially done with the 7 buckets of dirt, so we get to clean it out. I'm going to show you the rocker box's only moving part. That screw down there. Very simple technology. We'll pull this mat and then we'll see how much gold we got. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have our concentrates. We're going to find out what's here. I hope there's more than 10. That's the hope. Well, it's caught some fine stuff. I've got one shotgun pellet in there, which is always nice to have a shotgun pellet. Some nice bits in there. Oh, there you go. There's a lot of specks, but most of them are ultra fine, ultra fine. A couple of nice bigger ones, just like that one there, and then this one here as well. But not as many as I was hoping. That's annoying. So we got okay gold out of the main rocker box run. The other thing that was going on is we reckon that using the really soupy water at the end probably cost us a bit of gold, because we found 3 or 4 specks in one pan from the tailings pile, and that just says to me that the really soupy water wasn't allowing the stratification process to work properly, allowing those heavies to sink as fast as they normally would. That's my bad. That's okay. We've still got gold. We got more gold this morning than I had when I woke up. Right, we're done with kicking it 1852 and we're going to start kicking it 2018. We're going to break out the crock and we're going to use the gator, and we're going to sluice a couple of buckets to see what results we get from that. We're continuing this trench. George has done a fantastic job just clearing out some more of it there, so he's almost got that cinched up. And I've just spotted this. This isn't bedrock, that is a rock, and I don't think that rock has been moved in a very long time. So that's a rock. That also might be a rock. I don't think it is, but it may be, and if it is, there should be some really good gold in those tight crevices. We found a big one. So, well, Josh calls it a little rock, so we've sequestered his muscles to help us move it.
Put your fingers.
That's how to get really, really sweaty really quickly. Just going to do a test pan of dirt from this newly acquired area. This is definitely a floating rock. The dirt goes well and truly underneath it, but there's no way we're going to be able to move it. It's way too big, like it's absolutely huge. So we'll do a test pan of this dirt and we will find out if it's got any gold in it. I'm going to make it really quick though. You ready? Aha! Easy as. Was that worth our time? It was. There is about
15 or so decent colors in there, which is pretty cool. Very fine, but decent. That is like the Marianas Trench. Check this out. Pry bar, about as long as my forearm, if not a little bit longer. Almost all the way in. That's insane. All right, screening time. Grizzly is shocked and amazed to tell you that out of the bottom of that hole, I managed to get one pan that looks like this. That is a nice looking pan. George and I have finally got to the stage where I'm tired. And we're going to run the dirt that we've got. We've got what, 5 buckets or so ish, thereabouts. Got the crock set up, and you're going to see how much quicker you can process 5 buckets of dirt with a crock compared to a rocket box. It's probably only going to take us a few minutes. Pew! Pew! Oh yeah! Let's get sluicing. We've got a little bit of a plan. We have the Gator Sluice, and for the first time ever on the channel, we've got it running into the McKirk. And what this is going to do is 2 things. A, if you're an astute watcher of my channel, you'll know that this is the exact spot my sluice lifted up and started floating away, and I lost a lot of gold, and that will prevent that from losing anything, because it will just fall straight into another sluice. And it'll tell us about losses, any losses that we may incur with the crop. Look at that little speck just chilling. Okay, we've done all the buckets. We've pulled out the sluices now. We didn't film it because it's complicated pulling 2 sluices out in the right order and all that sort of stuff. What we want to do first is probably check what we lost. Now I'm expecting loss, and for 2 reasons. A, we're dealing with very fine gold with chunky black sand, and that means they're competing for space, and it is more than possible for that to cause a situation where gold's going to go straight back out of the sluice box. The second reason is we were dealing with clay-based soils, and even though we had puddled them, there were several bits that went up and over the top of the Croc's grizzly bars, and that means that the gold could have gone over the top of the Croc and straight into the McKirk. They're the 2 reasons I foresee that we could lose gold, and we're going to find out how much we did. Run away. This is out of the McKirk. This is our losses. I'm expecting fine gold to be in here, and that's pretty well what we got. In and around, I don't know, 50 specks or so worth of gold in that pan, and again, exactly what I expected. We lost fine gold, and it's mostly due probably to the heavy black sands and the small gold competing for space. It's the most likely type you're ever going to lose from any system. So it pays to check these things, and what that means is in the future I would probably run the Croc a little bit flatter to make sure that it was running a little bit slower, and that would mitigate some of those losses, but also regular cleanouts. We just pumped 70 litres of dirt through it, and that means that there's probably a lot of black sand inside of that box, and that is where you're going to have that competing for space problem. Straight away, we see exactly what I was talking about before. When we cleaned out the McKirk, we got a lot of very light, fine black sands and a lot of very fine gold. And what I was saying was they were competing for space in the boiler box inside the Croc. Well, if you look at what we just washed out of the Croc and panned off, the black sand is considerably bigger. And given the size of that boiler box, it just means that you should be doing more regular cleanouts. So maybe run 2 buckets if you're in a heavy black sand area, and then put it back and keep running. And that's what these sluices are designed for. They're designed to be quick, efficient, and easy to set back up. And that's exactly what we should have been doing. We'll see what the gold is. I'm going to show you the black sand first. Look how chunky that black is compared to what was in the other sluice. And that's the difference. Oh, we got a shotgun pellet. Yeah! Yeah.
Oh, we can gold plate that thing.
Oh yeah, and it still caught a lot of fine gold.
Yeah.
It caught a ton of fine gold. And the bigger bits.
Yep.
There we go.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one go down. There's probably, I'd say around double the specs, if not more, in there from what we got out of the McKirk. Well guys, we are out of here. We've had an absolutely massive day on the shovel, working close to 200 litres of dirt and utilising 2 different prospecting systems. The big lessons that I took from today was more about the cleanouts. Both the rocker box and the fluid bed sluices could have done with more regular cleanouts, and that was due to the heavy black sands and the very fine gold. If you're working in a granite area, that's pretty much what you can expect. Very coarse blacks, very fine gold, and the blacks often overtake the space that the gold needs to settle into any system. So regularly cleaning it out means that you will net more gold. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you do like my channel, because it helps me grow the channel bigger and better for you guys. A thumbs up and a share also go a long way for helping me out. Remember to check out my Patreon account, because there's awesome prizes you can win every second month, and I'm about to show you all the gold that we got today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm out.